everybody. What are we going to talk about today on Coffee and Questions? Well, let's see. Let's talk about angle grinders. I watched a video the other day and it kind of bothered me a little bit that this guy was using it like in a dangerous way, so I thought I'd make a video and go over just some of the quick tips and things that I've learned from using an angle grinder. Now, there's lots of them out there made by all different kinds of companies. I mean, there's DeWalt, Makita, Milwaukee, there's tons of them. The one that I have is I have a Makita, let's see, I have a Milwaukee, I have a Bosch, and I have a DeWalt. I like this DeWalt. I mean, it has been a workhorse for me. Now other people might have complaints and stuff about it, but they work great. What can you use them on? Well, you can use them on stone, masonry, wood, metal. You can use them to remove paint. You can remove lots of different things, rust, crud, whatever. You can use them to weld prep. It just depends on the wheels you put on them. We'll go over that in a few minutes. But what is the deal with the guard? And so one of the first things I saw on the video is he didn't have the guard on there and he had the handle off of it. Okay, those are not safe ideas. I've always had a handle on mine, and the handle can switch from the left side here to the right. It's got holes on each side, most of them do. The guard, I always leave the guard on. Now this guard is a positional guard, and most of them have that, where you can rotate this around and get it out of your way. But the guard's there and it will protect you. If there's something wrong on the disc, this one's a thin cutoff wheel. If there was something wrong with this and I didn't see it, like a crack or something, that guard will help to protect you, because when this thing's moving that fast, it flies off, it'll hurt you bad. Now, let me move into a couple of other tips. Okay, so let's talk about the wheels for a little bit. Now here I have, this is another DeWalt. I picked this up at a garage sale for about $5 because the handle was missing, and I made the handle. It's not hard to do. Go down to the hardware store, get some nuts and bolts, and this is just a piece of piping. And like I said, it can go onto the right or the left. And it has on it here, I'll stick this up closer, it has a masonry blade on this one right now. I should probably take it off and put something else on there. I haven't cut anything in quite a while. But you can use these, to cut masonry, tile, different materials. So that's what it looks like. It looks like this. Now, okay, so let's talk about cutoff wheels. This is a cutoff wheel. These are some right here. Got these out at Harbor Freight. I usually don't get cutoff wheels from Harbor Freight. I buy them from the welding supply store, but I didn't want to go that far, so I picked these up. Okay, a lot of people will complain about these. They're cheap wheels. Hey, don't ever buy cheap wheels. I agree with you, but I haven't had bad luck with these. They've been fairly good. They'll wear out fast on you, and they'll wear down depending on the thickness of the steel that you're cutting. But still, cutoff wheels come in incredibly handy for me here in my shop. So that's a great thing. And I keep a pack of them around. Everybody else goes, well, you should use grinding wheels too. And this is a grinding wheel. This one is made by Diablo. Pick them up out at Home Depot. Right here. Okay. This is good for taking off like really rough material on something and trying to just grind your way down, and you don't really care what it looks like. I have a couple of these. I don't use these a whole lot, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. But these are good. There's nothing wrong with these, and they're made by a good company. And like I said, for really coarse material, they work good. One of my most favorite things are the next two we're going to talk about. This is a flap wheel. Now, this one right here is made by Warrior. You can get these out at Harbor Freight too. There's nothing wrong with these, but these are kind of the cheapy end of flap wheels. Flap wheels because they're all individually little sections of sandpaper that are bonded onto this disc. They work great. Now this one's a 60 grit. You can get them in 40 grit and you can get them up to 120 plus. But what I like about these, I just seem to favor these over a grinding wheel because I do, like, let's say, lots of welding and shaping, and these I seem to have more control over, and they just seem to do better all the way around. So I really favor these, but it's like I said, I'm not grinding down any big, crusty, nasty old welds. So you can pick these up online. I have I'll try to remember the link below. I pick up these really good ones. I think they got cubic zirconia in them or something, and I buy them off of Amazon. And I'm kind of like a, you know, loyal person to this particular company because they're fantastic wheels. But in a pinch, there's nothing wrong with these. Diablo out at Home Depot also makes them. They're good. I've used those before too. Nothing wrong with those. Now my other favorite thing that I really like using when it comes to these 4.5 or 5-inch or whatever angle grinders is wire wheels. Now you can buy these like this. This is like a real thin, kind of a thin wire brush. I mean, if you take a look at this, I'll get in here. Okay, and this just screws onto that arbor. Okay, it has a nut there. You can snug it up a little bit. This is really good for taking rust and corrosion and paint and all kinds of stuff off steel and you know, getting it weld prepped and very clean. So there's nothing wrong with these. These are good. Now let's see who this is made by. Okay, this is made by Bostitch. I picked a couple of these up when they were on sale. This one was like $2, $2.50. They were just dumping the product line. Here's another brand new one, and I haven't taken it out of the box yet. Now this one here is much more coarse. Let me pause it and I'll open it up and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, now if I opened up this package, it would look like this one, which I've destroyed. I mean, here, I'll take a look, I'll show you. I've abused this thing way beyond belief, okay, and this was another one that was one of those Bostitch ones because it was Walmart or somebody happened to have been dumping them at a cheap price. I looked at them, they look like really good quality, and they are. I destroyed this one on one of these trailer flips I was doing because I pressed too hard probably. I didn't let the wheel do its work. That's another problem that a lot of people have. You need to let the tool do its work and not just press on it because you want to hurry up and do it in 3 seconds. So that's what happens when you get in a rush. It's a mistake that I made. So, but I get these new ones, okay, whenever I can. These come in really handy for really taking like a lot of really thick crud off, whether it's mill scale or whether it's just crud from sitting around rusting out. Now there's another good one out there. This one is Milwaukee. I got this out at Home Depot. They happen to have a rack of them on sale. I think I paid like about $5, $6 for this. I haven't opened it yet, but it's a fine wire wheel. And it's a fine wire wheel as opposed to this really coarse one. So I keep both of them on hand because they come in handy, I mean, for different things. It just depends on, you know, what I'm doing at that time. Now before I keep going on, I wear 2 shields. I wear, one of the things I did agree with in one of the videos that I watched, I wear eyeglasses and then I wear a shield over that. Why? The eyewear protection is so important. These little wires will fly off of there. If you've ever taken one of the ones out at Harbor Freight and even put it on a drill and used it, they'll come off and they'll stick into your skin like darts going to a dartboard. Happens to you once and you feel them hit your skin and stick. These, you know, protect your eyes, okay? So protect your eyes, wear a respirator too if you're doing a lot of grinding. I mean, that helps you too. Sleeves, I mean, wouldn't hurt you because a lot of those sparks, those hot sparks are going to fly up on your arms. So that's it on the protective gear. I use all that stuff depending on what I'm doing, but always in a mandatory way. I wear two layers of eye protection. Okay, so let's move into the questions and answers, and I'll see if I can explain some of the other things that, you know, you had concerns about on the forum. Okay, one of the questions on there is it safe or not safe to use them like a grinding wheel? These are thin. This is a cutoff wheel. I assume that's what you're referring to, okay? And it's used to cut like a knife, to cut. Not to grind. You can do that. I'm not telling you you can't. It is dangerous, okay? I would not do that. This thing will bust on you in a split second if you start thinking you're going to use the sides of this as a grinder. So, yeah, don't do that. Now, the other question from the same person, I believe, that posted it, is changing them on and off. Do you always need to use a spanner wrench? Okay, this is a spanner wrench, and let me show you. It goes in these grooves. It goes in these grooves like this. All of them have some kind of a locking mechanism on there that will lock the wheel, and then you can just go ahead and boom, you know, loosen it up, take the nut off, switch the wheel, tighten it, snug it, and you're good to go. On a lot of mine, I don't do that. Now, I've got this right here, there's the locking mechanism. Now, we all know I got to change this wheel. So I just take and I go like this, and it comes off, just like this. I'm going to do it in real time. It's off. There's the wheel. It's worn itself way too far down. I'm going to put the new wheel on there. I'm going to put the nut back on there, like this. Okay. Now, I got it on there finger tight. Now I take the whole thing and rotate it with a little oomph. Now, when I go to take it off, I can do the same thing and bring it back this way, a little oomph, and it comes off. That's what works for me. It's probably a little bit safer if you want to snug it down with the spanner wrench. I haven't personally run into a problem. I mean, using the method of just snugging it by hand, it's never come off on me, or I've never had a problem with it. Okay, a question is like, when I'm cutting steel, I mean, what is a good way, to do it? Well, everybody just grabs the angle grinder and just cuts. Let's take this piece of steel. There's a mark on here. Now, assume I have my angle grinder. I'm going to come down and I'm going to make a light cut, very light cut. I might do it like this, like about 3 or 4 times, and create a channel right there. Okay, with that channel, I know my cut will be straight. Then you can start taking a little bit more aggressive cut to cut through the steel. And I would do that all the way around on this, just by creating that channel, because it keeps my cut straight and you don't come out with these, these crooked cuts. So, that's kind of like one tip, and it does make the cutting much easier when it has that channel to follow. So, that's the way I do it. And if somebody else might have a suggestion and want to drop it below, it just happens to work for me, like I said. So, it's just a tip you can try in your shop. Taking down the welds, well, like I said, I don't use those grinding discs, that I showed you that much, not at all. I really enjoy using the flap wheels. I seem to have better control. They come out a lot cleaner, and I get them just the way that I want. But like I said, the grinding wheels do have their purpose. Okay, well, what kind do I use? I use good quality wheels when, I find them, and I usually get them in 40, 60, and 80 grit. I think I have a couple around here for 120, but that's used for more polishing, than anything. But between, 40, 60, 80, that takes care of everything that I want it to do when I'm cleaning up or weld prepping or anything like that. What happens on a project if I want it to really shine? Well, then I switch over to a random orbital sander, and then you can start going through your grits. Don't jump more than 50 grits, and always get out the previous scratches. So if I'm using 120, I might go to 150, or if I'm using 100, I might go to 150 grit, and then spend a little bit of time. Get out all the previous scratches, then move on to the next grit. So from 150, I might go to 220. From 220, I could go 280. 280, then I start jumping. I might go to 320 or 400. It just depends on, how shiny you want something, but you can experiment around, because the Velcro back sanding discs, they're not that expensive. You can get good quality ones at Home Depot. Random orbital sanders, they're not that expensive either. Just get a good quality sander. Do I recommend a particular, angle grinder? No. What I don't recommend is anything from Harbor Freight. You see my past videos where I had a friend that had to take it back 3 times. The thing literally is a piece of junk. Save up your money, wait another payday, go get yourself a DeWalt. Makita makes them, Rigid, Milwaukee, Bosch, I don't know, there's lots of them. And I have kind of one of each of different brands, and I pick them up when they're either on sale. The Milwaukee I picked up on sale. The other one, like I told you, I got at a garage sale for almost nothing and just made my own handle. But those are good name brand ones. It's my best advice. Question, why do I have several grinders? I'm lazy. I don't want to change wheels. So I have like one grinder, I have it set up with an 80 grit, another one that's got 60 or 40 on it, and then I've got one that's got a cutoff wheel on it, and then you saw the other one where I had the masonry blade, and I could probably change that over to something else because I'm not cutting anything masonry right now. But the advantage is if I'm working in the shop, I can just grab the tool, use it, put it down, grab the other tool, use it, put it down. And it was just a matter of luck that I managed to start acquiring these angle grinders, because some of them I got at garage sales and some of them were just on sale and I really wanted it, like the Milwaukee one. relating to grinding. Now, most people will grind like this, like straight up and down. Actually, you're going to find, especially with flap wheels, if you're at a 10 to 30 somewhere in there degree angle and you're doing it, you're going to find that the wheel cuts much better and much smoother than coming like just straight down on it. I understand it's something that everybody does. I probably do it from time to time, not even thinking about it, but I try to keep it in the back of my head. I mean, to keep it at a slight angle. You'll see that those abrasive discs and everything else, they just cut, you know, on the steel much better. Now I'm talking about grinding and flap wheels. I'm not talking about cutoff wheels. Or the wire wheels, you can keep it a little bit of an angle too. It does work much better. Just try it. Yeah, I mean, you'll see what I mean. So what's the big emphasis on worrying about cleaning up metal? Well, a lot of things that I do, it's weld prepping, and so I don't want all that contaminated garbage in when I'm trying to weld. You'll start getting porosity with all these little holes. You'll start having all these problems. The weld's not going to be as strong, you know, on and on and on. And I have a video where I talked about Lincoln wire and super arc for super dirty material, but that is an occasional thing, whereas most of the steel and things that I do, I always clean them up with, you know, some kind of a grinding wheel or a flap disc, because my welds are going to come out much stronger. And then you can go from there, I mean, really on what you want to do, but the cleaner the material, the better your welds are going to be. It's that simple. And you know, your welds are going to look better. Try welding a piece of cruddy, rusted out, crappy steel, then clean up another piece and then turn around and do it, and you're going to see that your welds actually look better. And they're not just stronger, they actually look better too. Where do I get most of my stuff? You know, I'm like a lot of YouTubers. I've got an affiliate thing, you know, with Amazon, but that's one perk. Yeah, I make a couple of bucks here and there. You don't get much money off Amazon, but what I like about Amazon the most is the convenience. I work a lot of hours and I work a lot of days in a row, and there's things that I need. And the prices are very competitive, and sometimes they're much, you know, they are much cheaper even than the big box stores. It just depends, because I look at all of it and then I determine, hey, look, it's only $1.50 more if I buy it on Amazon or something like that, and I'll go ahead and buy it. It's all about the convenience. I come home from work, it's at my doorstep, it's there, so that on my day off I'm not running around back and forth to the stores wasting time. I mean, trying to pick up sanding discs or, you know, or even MIG wire or anything like that. I mean, depending on the price, I mean, sometimes there's a cost saving, sometimes I pay just a little bit more, and I don't mind, because again, to me, the most important thing is the convenience. Those are my tips on doing this. Now, you'll see when I go into other videos and stuff on how-tos, and I've got another one coming up, you know, on the skull piston man or whatever, and you'll see me using it, and you'll see me using the different ones and the different ways that I use it. So stay tuned, click subscribe. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you folks enjoyed it. If you've got other comments that people can benefit from, put it in the comment below. Okay, so I mean, until the next video, I'll see you folks. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.